And welcome back to Pan's Picks, here with Bill for the divisional round. 8 teams left. Bill, real quick.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll start with the AFC. Rank your quarterbacks 1 through 4. Rank your quarterbacks 1 through 4. The AFC.
Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Trevor.
Dang, I would switch my Mahomes and Allen. I'd put Mahomes 1.
Yeah, he's got more weapons though, or at least had more weapons.
All right.
I think Kelsey's just such an easy safety blanket for him.
Yeah, that's true. Can
you imagine if Josh Allen had Kelsey?
I mean, I do like how they have more dynamic receivers, right? I like that. I like that everyone on their team besides Kelsey is insanely fast. That's obviously the decision they've made. We'll just make everyone fast. Every player we get is really fast. Sky Moore fast, Pacheco fast, Scantling fast. Everyone's just fast. It's great. It's a great idea. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like anything. I really don't like most of what the Bills have after Stephon Diggs, but Diggs is amazing, so that's cool too. But yeah. I would say Kelsey is, possibly the best tight end ever. So I don't think Diggs is the best wide receiver ever, so I guess we'll give it to Kelsey there. All right, well, either way, let's start with Kansas City, Jacksonville, now that we know who the best quarterbacks are. Bill, what do you got for this one? I'm going to let you lead the way on this one.
Yeah, so to start out, Chiefs are currently -9, and the over-under set at 52.5. So they're expecting some scoring.
That's fun.
I have Kansas City. I don't know. Last week kind of got us with the money lines.
Yeah.
And where everybody was sitting and how much points Vegas was giving everybody. I feel like this one might be a little bit closer. I think Vegas is just a little far out there hoping for blowouts. I mean, there was really only one game last week that was a blowout. So I'm going to take Kansas City to win, but I think that Jacksonville with the points can cover in Vegas.
Oh, Kansas City, or so Jacksonville with the points. Jacksonville is going to score. Kansas City is going to score. Kansas City is going to score a lot. It's gonna be a shootout, but I feel like. You know what's funny? Okay, so it's 8.5 points. I feel like I'm not kidding. I think Kansas City is going to cover. They're going to win by more than 8.5 points, but it's not going to feel too much like a blowout. It's not going to be a blowout, but the thing is that they're going to both be scoring so fast, I think, in this game that it's going to feel like maybe Jacksonville can score really quickly and pull this game back in, but Chiefs will score quickly and, they'll win by 10 or 14, but it won't feel like, they're that far away because it feels like Jacksonville could just power in 2 or could power in a touchdown. They could score 2 touchdowns in the last 6 minutes because of the way they score, but they won't be able to stop the Chiefs. So the Chiefs will just stay ahead. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs with the points, and it's going to be very high scoring. I'd take the over. Would you take the over?
Yeah, I think that one of the teams gets to 35 points. And if it is going to be, somewhat close, I think you can get to 55 pretty easily.
Yeah, outside of weather, which I actually don't know what type of weather is expected for this. Outside of weather slowing it down, it looks like there could be rain and it's going to be 40. That gives it a chance of slowing it down, but yeah, 52 points, you could see that disappear real fast. I mean, you could just see it be, 21-17 at halftime, and you're like, okay, well, 52 is not too far away already, so let's go. But I'm with Kansas City covering the spread, but we're both picking Kansas City to win, obviously. That would be incredibly shocking if they did not win. All right, and then the next one, Sunday at 3:00. Damar Hamlin, number 3. Is this the NFL showing us who they want to win? What do you think? Damar Hamlin, number 3, 3 p.m. Eastern, Bills, Cincinnati, the game that never was. I have no idea what to think about this game, but I will say this. I'm going to take the Bengals with the points, but I think the Bills will win.
So we're sitting at -5.5 with Buffalo. The
Yeah.
over-under is listed at 48 right now.
Yeah, I'll say the game is such a toss-up that it would be just silly for me to not take the free points on a team like Cincinnati right here. So 5.5, it just gives them a buffer to lose by 3, lose by 2, lose by 1, whatever. But there's still just a very good chance that they win as well. So I think the Bills will win, but I'm going to take Cincinnati with the spread.
So I'm going to show my bias, and I'm going to call it a little bit more detailed than that. I think that Eli Apple is going to give up a game-winning touchdown.
Ooh.
I think that Buffalo wins by 7.
Oh, so you think it's going to be tied, and then it's going to be a breakdown in coverage. Maybe they send
Eli
too many.
Apple
Yeah.
is going to get cocky. He's going to completely bust on the play.
They send too many rushers. Allen just off his back foot, 50 yards in the air because he's the only...
Definitely off his back foot.
Yeah, and he's the only person we know that can do that. I'm not sure Mahomes can throw the ball like he throws the ball that far. Like him releasing it like flat-footed 60-plus yards in the air. I don't think I've seen anyone actually do that besides him.
He could probably throw it the farthest underhand, though.
Mahomes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it would still be going like 50 miles per hour. It'd be unbelievable. It wouldn't even make sense. Mahomes can throw the ball like the fastest and most accurate with just the flick of a wrist. I mean, I've never seen anyone throw it like him in that way. But Allen is just the player who can just throw the ball 70 yards in the air somehow, like it's out of the stadium and just off his back foot getting tackled. Maybe some players wrapping him up at the same time. So you're calling Buffalo. Game-winning touchdown, which is going to kill the spread. They're going to win by a touchdown, but it'll be close the whole time.
Yeah, I think that Buffalo will get ahead early. They're going to relinquish a lead after half to let them come back in and tie it up.
Yeah.
And then Allen probably, let's say in the last 5 minutes. I don't think it's going to be like a end game drive for them to go ahead. I think that they'll have it, and then it'll be a defensive battle for like the remaining 5 minutes of the game.
So they'll each get a chance to kind of win the game, but then, it'll just kind of end.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. This last week was a funny week because Buffalo had their struggle against Miami, which was painful. I mean, I pretty much everyone was saying that this game could be over by halftime. This game could be over by the end of the first quarter, and the game looked like it was going to be over by halftime because they were winning 17-0. And then Allen had some, miscues. That game was wild because they had huge return yards on the 2 interceptions that set them up in field goal range, and then the punt return set them up into field goal range, and then just a straight up touchdown off of a. I can only put that touchdown recovery on Allen in that situation. But then I, as a Bills fan, was very anxious, and then I watched Cincinnati play, and I was like, Cincinnati, the Bills won close because of huge mistakes that kept Miami in. Cincinnati won because of huge mistakes from Baltimore that gave them the win. So I felt a little better after the Cincinnati game, and I just thought, okay, you know what? Football's hard. The playoffs are hard. All these teams have more wins than they have losses. So, as ridiculous as it is with Skylar Thompson and whatever, it's still the NFL. It's still the playoffs. So it gave me a little bit more of a relaxed feeling about Buffalo against Cincinnati in this situation.
Yeah, I think this is an important game, though, for Allen and Buffalo. They need to be focused. They can't have these errors, especially if they are to win, to go to Kansas City. Kansas City is going to light them up if they continue to falter and give up leads. Yeah. So this should be a very important game for Allen and the team to kind of right themselves, start getting their head straight.
And Cincinnati's weak right now. I know they have a lot of injuries. Their defense isn't that scary, really, and their offensive line is super injured. Buffalo is not injured really at all besides Von Miller and Micah Hyde, who also won't be back. I know they talked about possibly him coming back, which I feel like that would be a huge thing because that would make it a lot harder for Burrow to succeed. Burrow's got to stay upright. If he doesn't, then Buffalo is gonna make it hard for them as long as Josh Allen doesn't just gift them touchdowns and great field position. Kansas City, sorry, Jacksonville, we kind of just jumped over you. Maybe, I mean, I don't see any way that they're really going to win. If they won, it would be unbelievably shocking if Jacksonville won because Kansas City's got the break. They've got the team. Andy Reid, isn't he historically great off of a bye? And
on top of it, Jacksonville for the season, their defensive pass game was ranked 28.
Yeah.
So very vulnerable against the number 1 rated offense this year.
Yeah, I could see Mahomes hitting 5 touchdown passes in this game. Now, their defense is not very good, so I could still see like Lawrence getting 3 or 4 touchdown passes as well. Like them still scoring over 24 points, which would make it not, like I said, not look as big of a blowout as it could be or even could feel. Let's see. While we're here, why don't we just do Kansas City Buffalo? What do you think? We're here in Atlanta, right? Where the AFC Championship, based on our predictions, would be played. What do you think, Bill? Kansas City Buffalo. Who do you think has a better crowd in Atlanta?
Buffalo. Buffalo travels.
You think Buffalo's going to take it over? I mean, you've got a lot of it's a big transplant area. Atlanta's a big transplant area. The surrounding areas, I was thinking about like North Carolina, Charlotte. If you're a Bills fan in Charlotte, you're telling me you're not driving to Atlanta to go to that game, or a Kansas City fan. That's not crazy. I mean, it's a few hours. You totally do it, right? So I think that the stadium will be overwhelmingly Buffalo, but the one stadium I've seen to keep Bills fans out pretty strong is Kansas City. You know, some cities just they can't hack it. I went to a Rams-Bills game earlier this year, and I mean, it was like 50-50. Luckily, they're both blue, so maybe you couldn't tell the difference from from TV. But when the Bills scored a touchdown, the crowd was pretty raucous. Let's just put it that way. It didn't. The Rams had nothing, and that was their banner reveal game. So that was not great. Kansas City's strong in that way. What do you see is the key in that game, Kansas City Buffalo?
I think it's going to be Allen's legs. I think Buffalo has the more overall well-balanced team. They got a little bit better of a defense. The pass and rush game is it's definitely more balanced than Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City is so pass heavy. They're rushing, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's serviceable. But I think that part of Allen's legs factors in where Mahomes can scramble, but not like Allen does. I think that Allen could bust out a couple 20-yard runs easily against Kansas City, and those could be on crucial third downs, which definitely gets the momentum going.
What's wild about it is, when you're looking at this game, even Bills Cincinnati, but Bills Kansas City, any game that Buffalo's going to be in, it's all just comes down to Allen. It's Allen's call. If he shows up and, first half, 2 turnovers, something like that, a bad pick, it's really up to him. It's really up onto his play and then also where his turnovers end up. I was thinking about this, that turnover they had to Brown. He threw the ball to Brown and was intercepted by Xavier Howard. It was like a 50-yard bomb, and he caught it at like the 5-yard line. He runs it back to like the 40, to the Buffalo 40. It was like a 60-yard run back almost, or 50-yard run back or something like that. If that doesn't happen, he just gets tackled at his own 20. The interception becomes nothing. I mean, it's a punt at that point.
It's a punt, yeah.
As long as Allen's turnovers, which we just feel like is going to happen, if his turnovers are on 3rd and long in his own territory and he throws it deep and then he ends up with the ball in their own territory, then it's really no harm, no foul. Because if we're just going to accept that he's going to turn the ball over, as long as they're not for touchdowns and as long as they're not in the end zone when he's in the red zone and they, negate 3 points or possibly a touchdown, Buffalo can win. He can put up the points to keep up with any quarterback. So it's just weird to see that. It comes down to those plays. Will Allen make those plays? If he doesn't, hey, Bills will go to the Super Bowl. If he does, these other quarterbacks are more steady.
I don't see a rematch of last year's if Kansas City and Buffalo do play each other. I don't see a lead change 3 times at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I think that if Kansas City and Buffalo do play, there is going to be a decisive winner in that one.
Oh, you think it's going to be clean? Like a clean
It's going to
win.
be, I mean, it'll be close, but I think it's going to be, it's not going to, trade hands and then be left down to seconds on a clock and maybe mismanagement of the clock from coaches.
Would you put it as like how the Bills Chiefs game was earlier this year? It was just 24-20, maybe a little higher scoring than that, but it ended with like Bills get a touchdown with like a minute 30 left, and then they intercept Mahomes at the end. He never really gets close. He doesn't even get to midfield. They pick him off like in his own territory, and then the game ends. Like something close, but not like last second, on the goal line type of stuff.
I could see it going like the Giants and Minnesota game.
Okay.
Where it's, competitive, but, there is an opportunity. Buffalo just kind of shuts the door, though, at the end.
Well, all right. That's where we're at. Bills to the Super Bowl for the AFC. Hey, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I want it to happen. I think a lot of America wants it to happen. I think a lot of people picked Buffalo to win the Super Bowl this year in the beginning of the season, and I don't see how they couldn't have made you want them to win more as the year went on. So it's an easy team to root for. It's exciting. All right, Bills to the Super Bowl. We're going to move on to the NFC in the next video.